Good morning to you all viewers of High Television. You are welcome to the weekender edition of the program Press Brief this Friday, the 2nd of February 2024. For presentation, I am attending Larry Kevin Tabot, who will be back with the various papers. Hey there, once again, if you are just joining us, you are on to Press Brief, and on this program, the newspapers always come first. On this first part of the program, reserved for the review of the papers, we start with Loju. Loju of Haman Manor talks of the Bobda affair, pressure surmounts on the judicial police as two of his victims went to give their account on what transpired between them and the said sex predator Evie Bobda. Get to read more on that on page 3 on Loju for today. Indomitable Lions forward Karl Toko Ekambi says he will no longer play for the nation. That is what you can read on that said paper for today. Education, it says 76,000 school students will go in for the francophone subsystem of education, the certificate known as CAP for 2024. That is what Haman Manor is telling us on page 2. We move away from Loju, we take you to Lloyd Sahel for today. It talks of the Adamawa region is the mostly affected in 2023 when it comes to inflation. You can find more on that on Lloyd Sahel of Gibe by Tama. Tokomberi locality from the far north region, it says the situation of children that are malnourished is quite preoccupying. And tourism sector, the paper report on the zoological garden of Garua still open. You can find more on that paper for today. Marwa population denounces the quality of work provided by some contractors who are into road construction over there in Marwa. We take you to the Horizon. The Horizon says Anglophone crisis. Shada denounces targeted killing of civilians. You can find that story on the Horizon on page 2. And in that said, the Horizon, the paper talks on why not the other Horizon, thank you, that was that of yesterday. It talks on why Treasury Director General was knighted by Paul Biya. The Fomunyo pays courtesy visits to Cote d'Ivoire new opposition leader, and in that said paper, experts seek solutions to Cameroonian economy beyond resilient nature. And Mamfe Kumba roadblock as fighting erupts between separatists and government forces in the southwest region. Investigate Info for today talks of the distribution of hydroelectric. Sorry, it talks of the distribution of petroleum products or hydrocarbon products. It says serenity still reigns. You can find that story on that said paper of Investic Info. We move over to Limbe with the Sun. The Sun for this day talks of fighting death tolls at the National Assembly. 16 members of parliament gone ready. Limbe City Council taking decisive steps to tackle floods and landslides in the town of Limbe. And Catholic University Institute of Boya and Sere Entrepreneurship Academic Fair 2024. It talks of a melting point of ideas, of talents and opportunities. This took place in Boya. We'll move away from that to the next paper, the Median. The Median for today says membership of 92,000 asset worth of CFA France 62.4 billion. Taricon Credit Union is undisputed leader in CEMAC microfinance sector. That is what the paper of Stephen Ojong, the Median, is telling us for today. Absentee Tombe Mayor bribes councillors to vote budget. Ritual duel. Job opportunities at Camtel as some 300 telecommunication ICT experts contract and needed by Camtel. And Bobda affair, man faces legal prop for alleged sex abuse, multiple rape and other charges against Avie Bobda. The Guardian Post for this day says how to catch embezzlers without access declaration, attracting foreign investment. The paper reports on the Investment Promotion Agency, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency discuss cooperation to foster economic development. Northwest Regional Assembly Research Consultancy Network seal deal. CDC in certification gala for meeting global standards. And on the personality of the week, the paper celebrates the Director General of Cameroon Customs Service, Edwin Vongot Novaga, Director General of Custom. We move away from the Guardian Post to the next publication for today, The Punch. The Punch reports of abduction. 15 states enlist 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers, and federal government of Nigeria bars states from collecting mining royalties. You can find that story on page 8. Punch celebrates a 50th anniversary of non-publication of non-stop publication. You can find that story on that said paper. Naira rebounds as banks offload excess dollars. We move over to the other paper, that is Vanguard. Vanguard for this morning says after Ekiti, more children kidnapped in Benue State in the north central part of Nigeria. Why government should remove electricity subsidy? That is what the former power minister talks on. Establish state police to fight insecurity. PDP governor tells federal government. We move over to another Nigerian publication, this time around the Nation. The Nation for this morning says Naira falls. Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) moves against banks for holding the sum of $5 billion according to the Nation. Pressure mounts on abductors of Ekiti pupils. I am the unifier for Edo, PDP says Ahado. We move over to the sports paper. Punch Sports Extra for this day says Nigeria versus Angola. Here we go again. Ashisha Ashwala quits Barcelona to join US club. Meanwhile, Napoli wonder boy Victor Osimhen, not Jesus, upgrade Sylvester. You can find that story on that said paper. Arsenal joined the Rashford chase, and get to read that story on page 9. We'll move over to this other one. I'm a gladiator. Birmingham, Real Madrid target Van Dijk. You can read that story and more other sports story on your sports paper, Punch Sports Extra for this morning. Away from that, we move over to Le Quotidien. Le Quotidien talks of the activities to mark the 58th edition of the National Youth Day that was launched by the Minister Munana Foto of Youth Affairs and Civic Education. We take you to the next publication for today. Municipal update of Victor Cham for this morning says milestone. We are 2 years old as a English daily in Cameroon. And to achieve outlined goals, Transport Minister prescribed resilience to collaborators. Bambuto's division, the paper reports of the situations of West Region. It says senior divisional officer tax New Galim to stop amber incursion in Galim subdivision that borders the northwest region that has witnessed a series of separatist attacks over there in that part of the west region. Le Quotidien Economy reports on the conclave of the grand meeting of the banking group known as BGFI Bank that will be taking place in Douala. Introduction of the regional bank, the paper says, an experience in the banking sector of Cameroon and the CEMAC sub-region at large. Appointment of governors of the governor of the Central Bank of Central African States, BEAC. The paper talks of the practicalities of the text governing that sets banking institution. Yaoundé 5 subdivision, the World Bank to assist the locals with their daily challenge as they will be providing some basic services to the Yaoundé 5 subdivision. Quotidien Eco Santé, the hot paper, reports of indiscipline and travesty of the sacred code when it comes to the provision of quality health service. It says mental health experts will be focusing on how to break this ill in the Yaoundé health debate that will be coming up anytime soon. And that the provision of blood bank in 2023 says 1,486,661 blood banks were being provided by some Cameroonians of goodwill to hospitals to cater for those in who need blood for 2023. That is what the health paper Quotidien Eco Santé report for today. We'll take you to the paper of Carol Tamba. Le Rapport for this day talks of Sirac 2024. He says Tunisia will be the guest star. Indomitable Lions Carl Etoko Ekambi says he will no longer play for Cameroon. You can find that story on that said paper for today. We take you now to Ecofinance for today. It talks of the Chan Council that says they have not had any salary arrears of workers since February 2020. That is what the mayor of Chan Council talks on that paper for today. The cocoa sector, the paper reports a remarkable increase of 8.3% increase in the prices per kilogram of cocoa. That stands at 2,730 francs CFA. We take you to foreign workers. The paper report on some heads of foreign establishment that have been summoned to answer when it comes to them not respecting the laws of Cameroon that stipulates the employment of locals in foreign set companies. We move over to Le Pelican for this morning. It talks of integral development of Cameroon, the offer of this party known as MNC. From Le Pelican viewers, we will be moving over to the next publication for today, Code du Parlement, that says the funeral ceremony for the late member of parliament who passed on to glory, Honorable Abomo Fama, that took place at the National Assembly. Get to read more on that publication for today. We take you to another publication for this morning, that is the Herald Tribune for today. It talks of Tarikan Credit Union tops list largest microfinance institution. You can find that story on that said paper for today. Mezam SDO, we talk something else this time around with announcement juicy job opportunity at Ayemba Investment and Credit Cooperative Society known as AICCO. And we wrap up with this one that talks of at the International Custom Day, Finance Minister salutes Northwest Custom Sector for strike made as Louis Paul Motaze was in the Northwest region for that exercise that just took place. We move over to the last paper for today, La Voix du Jeune for today, reports on the Indomitable Lions mascot Ngando Piquet that talks of was he actually abandoned or he is just being lying. He says the divisiveness of Ngando. You can find more on that publication for today. With that paper of La Voix du Jeune, this is what put a stop on the first part of the program. But we'll be back for the second part with our reviewer seated here with us. Do not move a muscle. Hey there, viewers of High Television and of the program Press Brief. If you are just joining us, you are on to Press Brief, and this is the second part of the program reserved for our reviewer. Our reviewer for this morning is a lady, a fine journalist par excellence. I'm talking of Baku Josepha, who is a journalist with the Horizon newspaper. Good morning to you, Baku Josepha, and you're welcome.
Good morning to you, Larry. And thank you very much. Good morning to our beautiful and wonderful listeners out there.
All right, so we start off with the Horizon for today. The Horizon newspaper that you report for. The Horizon talks of Anglophone crisis. Shada denounces targeting of civilians. This follows a multiplicity of attacks that have been targeted towards civilians, as some of them have gone beyond the wall. We saw the situation of last Monday in Boya that saw the death of one gentleman who died along the Central Market area of Boya.
Yeah, it was a terrible incident, I must say, Larry. And not just Chada has commented on that, even the Bishop of Buya, my Bishop Michael Bibi, also commented, because it's really a barbaric act, and it's high time that such violent acts stop in Cameroon.
All right, but we saw a situation where there was like cessation of violence and hostilities across the northwest and southwest regions, and we thought everything was like back to normal as it was before 2016. But with this resurgence of arson attacks, of hostilities, of killings of civilians, where is this what should we be expecting? Should we be like saying, okay, things are now gone from bad to worse, or should we actually redouble our efforts when it comes to our personal security, because your personal security is your priority? You shouldn't be waiting for the forces of law and order to come to your rescue when you know there's circumstances or there are situations that you yourself need to avert, or you need to prevent or secede from.
Yeah, at the end of the day, nobody loves you better than you love yourself. So I just feel that personal security should be paramount. That's owing to the bishop's address to the public. We should prioritize being safe first before being right. Okay, like you said, the ghost town on Mondays had really been on a low recently. So everyone was surprised. Things were coming back to normal. Although rumor have it that the recent attack is as a way of thwarting the celebration of a youth day,
mountain race.
Yeah, so just a way of scaring the population. At the end of the day, we just have to be safe. We just have to prioritize our personal safety first.
Definitely, personal safety is actually something we need to take it serious. And we remain with the Horizon for today. The Horizon reports on Cabral Libre rejects the coalition supporting the candidature of Maurice Kamto for the unique opposition candidate for 2025 presidential elections against the ruling CPDM political party of President Paul Biya.
Yeah, a coalition, I think. Like they want to come
as one and present a unique candidate.
Yeah.
So some were saying Maurice Kamto should be the unique opposition candidate to change the status quo of the CPDM 41 years in power.
I just feel that Cabral Libre denouncing Maurice Kamto is just the beginning of the problem, because a house that is not united cannot fight an enemy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so unless two be agreed, it cannot work, and it's very difficult for progress to be made where there's disunity.
Sure.
So I just feel that this is a very strong indicator that as early as now, they should start tackling if they are hoping for victory in come 2025 elections.
Okay. Yeah. We remain with the paper of the Horizon, this time around with the Kumba Manfi Road block as fighting erupts between separatists and government forces. This is the same scenario we are talking about. So, travelers who were using the Kumba Manfi Road recently couldn't access that stretch due to constant fighting between the separatists and the regular forces of Cameroon.
To me, anyway, maybe because I'm not based there, but
Yeah.
I've always known that route is unsafe. I mean, when you hear that Southwest is on fire, usually that route is in the news. So this is really not
healthy.
Yeah, it's not. And like we said, personal safety first.
Yeah.
Yes, we've entered 2024. It's rather sad that some people are already leaving this early. So let's take personal measures, of course, before we invite God.
Of course.
So.
All right, so move away from the Horizon, we take you to Douala with Mitasiong. Mitasiong of Terry Diaga reports on Yaoundé, Bafoussa, Maroua. It says these localities are now host to a lot of dust as inhabitants of the set areas are complaining of the health hazards that comes along with the dusty nature of Yaoundé, Bafoussam, and Marwa, and some other towns and cities in the country.
January. I remember I think it's 2020 when I was in Yaoundé, that was in Simbo.
Yeah.
I mean, we practically had to carry water and go and throw
On the road.
Just to, rid of dust being entering the house. So it's dusty there. I'm a witness to that. It's really, really dusty. I don't know about other parts.
Bafoussam and
Bafoussam.
Marwa and some
But
others.
the news,
Bamenda
the
even.
news, the news,
I was in Bamenda, and the dusty nature of Bamenda, the dust actually penetrated into my traveler's bag, and my white towel actually got brown.
Wow.
And you can imagine so in Bamenda I had to use face masks, face masks, we're using it for corona. When now corona is gone and COVID-19 is gone,
imagine then the dust and cold.
just because I need to have a free circulation in Bamenda, I had my face masks on, and it's really, really terrible, especially when you are using the Bamenda stretch, or let's say from Bafoussam or from Chang to Bamenda. It's a hell dusty nature.
I think it's the soil around there, so I don't know what can ever be done to completely eradicate the
Good
dust.
roads, of course.
Okay, let's start up there. We say so.
Okay, we remain with Mitasiong this time around with the Indomitable Lions. He says Khaled Toko Ekambi says he will no longer be playing for Fatherland Cameroon, retiring from international football.
I was shocked.
Why is
I
that?
felt like he's one of our assets.
Really?
Honestly, he's one of the Indomitable.
But we saw his performance in the AFCON.
although-
It was beyond expectation.
Yes, although I wouldn't say he really I don't think he was in the spotlight this time around. So, but he has been an asset compared to other times. The World Cup that just ended last year, and then the CAN of 2022.
Yeah,
he was an asset. So for him to be retiring, well, let's just hope that someone comes in that will feel that vacuum, will feel that there's a lot of talk going on social media as far as the Indomitable Lions are concerned. So I don't really think I want to add salt to the wound.
So just leave it at that.
Yes.
Ever since they were voted out on the round of 16s by the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
They are receiving basketballs from every corner.
Yeah, especially the head coach.
I know.
And not forgetting Samuel Etofisi.
But that's just humans. When we disappoint, we have to express our grievance. I just hope we can be civil while we do that.
Definitely. Okay, we cross over to Limbe this time around with the Sun. The Sun for this day says frightening death toll at the National Assembly. 16 MPs gone already. We are talking of MPs that were elected to be the people's representative during the last legislative elections that took place, and we will be having legislative elections hopefully next year, and 16 members that were elected are already with the ancestors. Isn't that frightening, according to Norbert Wasso's paper for today?
It's frightening, but that's politics. What did they say? Someone said it's a dirty game. It's frightening. Well, I just hope that it does not completely weaken the spirits of other members of the party.
Or would be potential candidates.
Potential candidates.
Okay, we remain with Limbe this time around with the Limbe City Council taking decisive steps in tackling floods and landslides in that part of the country, because we saw last year 2023 Limbe was the epicenter of catastrophes in the southwest region. We saw the landslides that killed some persons. We saw the floods too that actually, if I'm not mistaken, claimed some lives, and property is being destroyed. The situation of Mawo neighborhood in Newtown, the situation of Down Beach, Church Street, Clark's Quarters, and some other neighborhoods of Limbe that are prone to these disasters of floods and landslides. This according to the accounts that we saw in 2023. So with the city council coming up with some measures to make sure they mitigate the effects of we know climate change is quite visible. To mitigate these effects, shouldn't that be something that the inhabitants of Limbe should actually throw their support behind a set municipal structure?
As a strong shall I say inhabitants from
Yeah.
Limbe,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can breathe a sigh of relief.
I can imagine.
Yes, yes. Last year was terrible. Especially, I remember going to the market and I hear the news, and I mean, it was a discussion of every gathering you see.
Yeah.
Somebody, and it's like one of the victims was did not even live around that area. He said
Okay.
but it was a bike rider
Mhm.
who closed late,
Late.
and here
Decided
his
to spend
area,
the night
yes, his area
in-
was risky.
Yeah.
So sometimes we really cannot tell which risks at the end of the day to avoid, because he was trying to avoid being attacked
Yeah.
by hoodlums, and then he met his death. It was a sad scenario.
So-
Even the flood too. You know, people that live in Clark's Quarter, this is the time they live in Clark's Quarter.
Down
This is the
Beach.
time, yeah, Down
Church
Beach.
Street.
Yeah, this is when they can receive visitors and be like, okay, I live here. But the rainy season, they relocate. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Imagine a nursing mother having to move out. It's sad. So for the it's a kudos to the Limbe City Council. They have the support.
Okay, we take you to the median for today. The median have as big story memberships of 92,000 plus and asset worth over 62.4 billion CFA franc. Then Tarikon Credit Union is undisputed leader in the CEMAC microfinance sector. What do you make of that caption of the AGM of the Takul that took place in Bamenda?
I felt impressed,
Okay.
especially with the recent innovation that people now members can carry out transactions on their phones. I even read that even if you don't have a what do they call this Android phone?
Yeah, smartphone.
Yeah, smartphone.
Yeah, the local one, analog phone.
Yes,
can
you
you
can
can
equally
see
access your bank.
access.
You can transfer money from person to person. So I think it's you know, it's a relief. It's a good innovation worthy of applause.
Okay.
Yes.
And many
First time people have to go and queue, all
Yeah.
that is avoided now.
yeah, and many see these these credit unions, especially the poor, those from the low income background, they see it as their own assets because some of them actually comes to extend a hand of fellowship to assist their customers, like those that are into petty trading, those that are into farming. They say, okay, we're going to give you this amount of money for you to go invest in your petty trading or your farming activity, and when it's time for the harvest or when it's the peak season, you come and pay us with a low percentage interest rates as compared to commercial banks. So shouldn't the government of Cameroon be promoting this, because credit unions have come a long way to alleviate people from poverty, as we saw from the yesteryears, where many were living in many Cameroonians were living in the below the poverty line in the yesteryears. But with the coming in place of this multiple credit unions that have now come to remove them from that poverty-stricken backgrounds.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell a government what to do. We can only suggest, you know. I just hope that they see what they are doing and how it's impacting, is alleviating poverty, and give them a hand of support. Yeah.
Okay, we talk something else this time around with Tombe Council. He says absentee Tombe Mayor bribes councillors to vote budget. We have a scenario. We are talking of Rose Ngasa. If you are not comfortable with that, so according to that paper and according to sources, they said the set mayor of Tombe, Rose Ngasa, has not been around for quite some time, but she just popped up from nowhere. So okay, councillors, let's just come. Let's vote the budget. We are talking of the budget for 2024. And many, I can say more than 98%, or I can say 99% of councils in the country, we are talking on 300 and plus councils in Cameroon, have had their budget voted since last year. We are talking of the moment of December, but now this but that of Tombe just surfaces and say, as Stephen Ojom captures that as she bribes the councillors to vote budget. So shouldn't CONAC be preoccupied with such acts, because CONAC is there for the fight against corruption,
especially after the president's speech, the end of year speech. That's
to wipe out corruption.
Yeah, to heighten the measures to wipe out corruption in the country. So this is in fact, this is a situation where they have to prove what he said. They have to he has to hold on to his word. You're bribing, and on top of that, you're about to vote budgets that you probably are not going to be accountable to. So I don't know.
Okay.
I really want to avoid.
Anyway, so that is politics for some of us who live in Cameroon. So we move away from that paper. We focus now on the Bobga affair with Luju. Luju for today says the Bobga affair, pressures are mounting from every corner towards the judicial police as two of his victims or prey were at the police stations to give their account on the said sex predator, how he molested them, had his way with them, according to accounts from the said two victims. We are talking on Oju on page 3.
I heard the lawyer spoke to the press. I think it's yesterday that he had given 48 hours to Zui Manto to produce, because he said he has 1,000 testimonies. Yes, more than 1,000, but he chose to publish 60, and then he said he has given him 48 hours to produce just 2. So okay, there they go. So I just hope that the case,
with the coming of these two survivors,
he said he's innocent until declared guilty by the court. So if they can produce 2 victims come and give their testimony that okay, this man actually assaulted me, of course with evidence.
With evidence, of course.
So
medical and every stuff. So, but let's look at the circumstances that led to the arrest of Evie Bobda. Don't forget, Evie Bobda, this thing with Zoom Mato that actually cut the airspace of the social media, and that later on with the coming in place of leading women, some leading women, we have the likes of Kawala, Rebecca Inoncho, and even the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Promotion of the Family, Professor Marie-Therese Abena Ondwa, who equally came in to weigh her voice, to weigh her weight in this Bobga affair. And Bobga was issued a summon to appear in the Bonanjo police station, but he was nowhere to be found. They even went to one of his residence apartment in Bonapriso for his arrest. Bobda has fled, and it was announced that Bobda is being wanted to answer for these allegations put towards him, but he was nowhere to be found. And it took the intelligence of the forces of law and order to go to Bonaberi in the Douala 4 council area to fish Bobda out. He was just in his panty in his uncle's residence. So this scenario, why am I putting this genesis? Doesn't this circumstances of this alleged sex predator Evie Bobda prove that he is already guilty of all charges? Because they say a clear conscience fear no accusation. So even let's say if he was actually innocent, shouldn't we see an innocent man moving to the police station in Bonanjo to present himself that okay, you had I had a summon from you, I'm here to answer the summon? But with him being a fugitive of the law, doesn't that speak volume of him being guilty?
Of course it does. To me, my opinion, he does, because he who has nothing to hide hides nothing. He was summoned by the police. He just had to answer it. For him to have fled, for the police force to have gone looking for him. I mean, in more than one place, it only shows he's trying to run from something. So what is that thing he's trying to run from? That's what I think Cameroonians are hell-bent on finding out.
Okay, we move up north to the country with Lloyd Sahel. Lloyd Sahel say inflation, the number 1 region, was the most affected in 2023 as prices of basic food commodities and other items saw the prices surge in the Adamawa region, according to the paper of Law the Sahel by by Tama for this morning. We have the situation of inflation. We are seeing it visible in our Cameroonian markets and our communities. For instance, the price of vegetable oil that used to sell at 1,000 now sells at 1,700. And so you can imagine us who are closer to the markets here in the south part and those up north, especially at Damawa region, that the paper is reporting that was the most affected when it comes to inflation. Joseph?
Yeah, but well, what can I say? Inflation, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time when inflation is going to be completely eradicated from an economy.
Your economy.
So this is a sad one. I hope the powers in place are able to do something about it.
Okay, we talk something else from the northern region, this time around with the zoo and the care for wildlife or games as they put them. This we talk on the Garwa Zoological Garden, where it's now a sanctuary for some animals that have had a tough time with poachers in the northern region who go for poaching. So this Garwa Zoological Garden now serves as a sanctuary to this set animals. So we are talking on the catering and preservation of wildlife. Isn't this a thumbs up to the Garwa Zoological Garden officials?
It is. And to every other part of the Cameroon that is making the effort to protect the endangered species. So it is a thumbs up, Larry.
Okay, and I think we are gradually getting to the end of the program, but this time around we'll make a stop over with the next publication. The next publication, I think we'll talk on. Have we talked on the Gando affair?
No.
Not yet. Okay, we'll move over to the Gando affair with La Voix du Jeune. La Voix du Jeune for this morning says abandon or he was just being a liar. It says Gando divisiveness, and we have the scenario of the Indomitable Lions mascot Gando Piquet, who actually said he went to Ivory Coast on road as he took Cameroon, Nigeria on roads, Nigeria, Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and later on he said he was abandoned by Cameroon football officials there as Fecafoot didn't care hell about him, as he said he'll spend the night in the cold over there in Ivory Coast. And so this took an influencer of Ivorian nationality who actually launched a fundraiser or crowdfunding for Ngando that amounted to the sum of 1.4 million CFA francs. I'm used to billions. 1.4 million CFA francs for him to pay his ticket back to Cameroon. Isn't this Ngando situation? Let's just talk about it, because Ngando at first said it was his fault that he didn't follow the plane. He forgot whatsoever, but now he came. When he said he was abandoned, but later on we saw him saying a contrast story, and now this other story. So isn't this is he being irrelevant or being redundant according to that paper of La Voix du Jeune?
Well, I will leave it for our readers to read.
Yeah,
and find out
detailing on that,
because well, like I said, let the readers read them.
Okay, it's okay. So, but don't you think is actually is actually paramount when people hold us according to what we say and not what we say one thing next next minute we are saying the contrary.
Different versions of the same story.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, why does it say this now and then say another
tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow. So why can you not?
And next week you'll be saying something.
So what's up? What's the next we're expecting? so let our readers get to it.
Okay, we end with the last paper for today. That is Emergence Quotidien for this morning. It talks of the declaration of properties of CONAC launches the fight against corruption. That is the commission headed by Reverend Diodone Marti Gams, who comes out to talk on what they have been doing so far, precisely in the housing sector, to make sure that corruption is being stamped out from that sector and in other parts of in other sectors of the country. A fight against corruption.
It's good, and we are hoping that that the fight is transparent, the results are transparent, and the perpetrators are exposed. I just feel with corruption, like any other crime, when one person is sanctioned, the others learn, the other decide, although they devise, because they hire the security or they hire the methods to expose them. I feel like they hire the intelligence for those who want to still continue perpetrating. Notwithstanding the efforts to bring about a
those who are
morally
found
upright society, is rewarded at the end of the day. So
and this is a collective fight. It involves you, it involves me, it involves each and every one of us. Because without that, I think our economy, our country will not be going the way we expect it to go. Take for instance Cote d'Ivoire. Take for instance Ghana. You see the rate of advancement that those countries have attained, but with us, we are like 40 years behind.
Wow. That is a 40 years.
According to the situation that we found ourselves, because I bet you in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even late 90s, Cameroon was far more better off than Cote d'Ivoire.
So
but if we see the development of Ivory Coast now, and you see us, it's like comparing night and day.
I just hope. Anyway, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, and the fight, like you said, it begins with you and I. So I hope that when we are faced with a similar situation, we are going to choose right over our personal interests.
All right, definitely, that's the watchword from the lady, the young, the vibrant lady Josepha from the Horizon newspaper. Thanks so much for joining us on today's program.
I'm humbled, Larry.
And